Tonight, the search for that convicted rapist has reignited a debate over Washington's sanctuary state policy. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Marnie Hughes.
And I'm David Rose. The King County Sheriff's Office now says Francisco Carranza Ramirez is believed to be in Mexico. Take a look at this, a new photo sent out by the Sheriff's Office showing him with a haircut and a shaved face. Last fall, Carranza Ramirez raped a woman in White Center twice in front of her 2-year-old child. He served 9 months in jail for those attacks. And last week, he got out, and a judge ordered him to register as a sex offender and go back to his native country of Mexico, which he had requested. Instead, detectives say 3 days after he got out of jail, he sought out his victim, attacked her again outside her apartment on Sunday. Carranza Ramirez now has a no-bail warrant out for his arrest.
We're just hoping that the more people that see where he's at now can then at least understand a little bit he's not in the area. It'll be better news for the victim as well. But ultimately, our main goal is still to get him arrested, take him into custody, and get him back to Washington where he'll stand trial.
His victim believes the justice system has failed her. And tonight, some critics agree. They say state, city, and county sanctuary policies prevent law enforcement from asking about a suspect's or a convict's immigration status. It also forbids them from alerting Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, when someone is here illegally. Late today, Governor Inslee released a statement. He says, in part, many serious and violent offenders are sentenced to serve time in state prison, and Washington's recently passed law allows the State Department of Corrections to disclose information to ICE. This individual was never in state custody. Well, that's because the judge never ordered him to be supervised by corrections officers for the state as a sex offender.
Even the judge seemed confused about how to handle this case because the sanctuary city policy kept her from asking about his immigration status. As a result, she left it up to him, as we've said, to voluntarily leave the country. He didn't, and instead attacked his victim again. State Senator Phil Fortunato represents the 31st Legislative District in parts of King and Pierce counties, and he's here to talk to us more about this. He also voted against our state's sanctuary city policy. So first of all, what we know about the facts of this case is this guy was not under supervision once he left the court, and he went and attacked his victim. We don't know his immigration status. What needs to change so something like this does not happen again?
Well, part of the problem that we have is when you have a state policy, a judge is confused about how to enforce the law. A judge is confused as to whether or not they could ask about an immigration status. Now, we drafted legislation, we being the state of Washington, that said you can't ask about an immigration status. Now, we had a police officer killed in Kittitas County. If that person was stopped for a speeding violation or something and his immigration status was checked, that officer may still be alive. And when you have these things where people say that they want to protect the status of immigrants, I am a first-generation Italian. My Mexican friends are fourth-generation Americans. They are more American than I am. And here we have this situation where they're trying to conflate both legal immigration and illegal immigration, where they're trying to tell us that they're trying to protect these immigrants. They're not immigrants. These people are violating the law. And we are giving sanctuary to criminals. This is madness. This is crazy stuff. And, you know, I want to emphasize the biggest victims of illegal alien criminals are other immigrants, other illegal immigrants. They are the ones that they get preyed on the most. So we are sacrificing women's safety, children's safety, other citizens' safety. For what purpose? To provide sanctuary to criminals? This is madness.
So let me ask you, because a lot of people really feel for what this victim has gone through. Do your colleagues in the legislature, will this change their minds at all and call for new legislation or a change to the current legislation going forward?
Well, I certainly hope so. But this isn't the first time. We had last year, what was it, April 2nd or something like that? We had a woman goes into a laundry or something, and she gets raped and brutally assaulted by an illegal immigrant. And what happened there? We drafted a sanctuary state policy. We went from sanctuary cities to now a sanctuary state. And you know, we need to be looking at this stuff. Criminals are criminals. It doesn't matter whether they're legal or illegal or whatever. They need to be off the street. Our citizens need to be protected. And, most of the time, who are the victims? And again, we go back to rapes, we go back to murders, we go back to these heinous crimes that these people are committing. And why are we protecting them? Why are we going out of our way to tell law enforcement that they can't communicate with the federal government to deport these people or get these people off the street? I mean, this guy should have been reported to the ICE, should have been taken into custody, should have been deported. Instead, where is he? A judge doesn't know whether or not to ask his immigration status because of a state law that was just passed.
Oh, the victim says the system certainly failed her. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us tonight, Senator Fortunato. And